Welcome back into the Non-Negotiables podcast. This is part two. So we're going to go over the more team-related predictions now. We did the players in the first half. So let's start with a more general one. Juz, who will be the first manager sacked this season?
Allow me to look at my notes, Gaff. I have this one was pretty tough for me, and obviously, I don't want to go with anything super obvious, so I'm going with David Moyes.
Oh God.
You did too?
Like
Damn. Sorry, Paz. Anyways, let me give you my reasons and see if Paz's reasons are better.
go for it.
I think that he won a European trophy last year, which was, great. And I think it was great for West Ham, but it was this newly created obviously third tier European trophy. I'm sure it was massive for West Ham, but I don't think it's, gaining David Moyes that much when he's finishing where he did in the Prem last season. He was already kind of under fire. I think he lost Rice, and now City are looking at Paqueta in like some kind of crazy 95 million move or something, if I've read what I've read correctly. And I just I think if without Rice already, I think they're much weaker. But if they lose Rice and Paqueta, I think they're frankly a bit fucked. So David Moyes is my choice of first manager sacked.
Paz?
So my instinctive choice was David Moyes, but I'll put another one in there. Moyes, I think one is when they sell Paquetá, which most likely they will. He's going to then. You could see the options he's bringing in: Maguire, Meathead McTominay. I mean, he's just going to go for. Hopefully, he'll put a massive bid for Tierney. He'll go for like Scottish players or ones that are just really below the standard of the ones that he's selling, because he's just that type of manager. But I'm going to put in Roy Hodgson as the other one because Palace haven't really done anything. What have they done?
That's a bit mean. He's everyone's favourite uncle.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did excellent in terms of keeping them away from the relegation. But I don't think he's a manager. I think when you look at what they've done in the season, they haven't really. Elise's probably going to go on this ridiculous release clause that they've got. He's injured anyway. Zaha's gone, obviously. I know you're not a big fan, but he did produce for them in some respects. I think they've got Eze, who I think is outstanding, but no strike force. I think it could be Roy Hodgson.
That's interesting.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, it is. And, and Hodgson, he did a good job when he come in for Vieira, but it's also notable that they changed Vieira out for Hodgson just as their fixtures changed, right?
Yeah.
Like literally they'd played everybody. Did Vieira get United? I can't remember, but it was just as their fixtures changed. So Hodgson
he did actually, I think.
And
he did
immediately
get United at home. Yeah, Elise scored, I remember.
Yeah, the free kick in the last minute.
Yeah.
They changed managers, and then Hodgson immediately came in and had like 7 or 8 winnable games in a row, and they started winning again. So, I think there's something in that if it starts to go badly, they're probably not hugely invested in him. And to the David Moyes point, Juz, the other thing that makes me think you could be right there, they appointed a new sporting director in the summer who's a German wunderkind. And apparently Moyes and him are loggerheads, right? Because apparently this guy wants to go out and sign all these European players and younger players, and Moyes is saying, no, I want James Ward-Prowse. So there's apparently a real fight going on there. One of their ITKs on Twitter said that if they'd have lost that Conference League final, Moyes would have been sacked immediately after that. I don't see that it's a good decision to keep someone on the basis of what happened in one game. Moyes is also out of contract next summer. I think it's a bad idea to go in to a season with a manager with 1 year left on his contract.
And give them the money. Give him the money.
Give him the money.
As well.
And that's what don't make any sense. You've appointed a sporting director, forced him to keep the old manager, and now Moyes has got veto on signings. So I was speaking to Bernard Whammer this afternoon, and he was really they're really I mean, they're always disgruntled, but they're really disgruntled at the minute.
Well,
And they want rid of Moyes.
Well, let's have him on bonus episode.
Okay, we'll get him on. We'll get him on at some point. Maybe we'll get him on before we play him this year. We'll grab Bernard Whammer.
I guess that's kind of rude.
Yeah, well, he loves to talk, so he'll be fine. Yeah, but they're all pissed with their summer dealings for sure. And like you said, Paqueta goes. I just don't. I mean, everything. The thing is, they could be worse when Moyes goes, right? Because they are building a squad for David Moyes. They're bringing in Ward-Prowse to take corners. They're bringing in Harry Maguire to head them in. They're all low block defenders. So they're going to get rid of him, bring in a new man. And it's almost certain he's going to go, right? Because he's got a year left and they've shown no interest in extending him. So he's going to go at the end of the season at the very latest. So why wouldn't you replace him now rather than let him bring these players in who's not going to suit the next man? It's a bizarre summer there. And I'm just glad we got Declan Rice out of there so he don't have to go through
it. Yeah.
I
think you're right. Yeah.
I'm going to go with a different one. Moyes actually would have been mine too, but I'm going to go with a different one, and I'm going to go with someone who I don't think is going to last very long, and that's Marco Silva at Fulham. I think Fulham are going to seriously struggle this year. I think they're going to be very, very bad. Marco Silva doesn't seem to hang around anywhere very long. I don't know if it's sacked or he's going to get mutually consented. But one way or another, I don't see Marco Silva lasting very long there. I think if they have a bad start, they're going to panic. I think there's a chance that Thomas Frank leaves Brentford pretty early too. But I think that might be of his own doing. I wouldn't be surprised if, for example, if West Ham get rid of Moyes, they could do worse than look at Thomas Frank. So I can see something like that happening. And for a bonus one for you, I think one of Pochettino or Fat Ange, the Spurs manager, I think one of them is going to get the chop this season. I don't think both of them are in charge at the start of next summer.
Do you think so? Because
I do. Maybe not both, but one of them. I think one of them. I can see this Chelsea thing.
Possible,
I can see this Chelsea thing going really badly, right? Because what they've tried to do is they've tried to basically be Brighton. And the problem is that Chelsea fans don't want to be Brighton. So they're bringing in all these players that might or might not be good. We don't know if they're going to be good or not. But they're still being charged Chelsea prices, not Brighton prices. So where Brighton can go and buy Alexis McAllister, say, for 8 million, Chelsea get charged 35 million for them players because they're Chelsea. So they're taking all these punts on big money. Most of them ain't going to work out. So I can see a world where it goes really badly wrong for Chelsea, and I think Pochettino would be. I think he could be out the door by the end of the season.
Their fans too are really high on players that have very little proven history. Like, I mean, Nico Jackson could be a great signing,
but the odds are he won't be.
Right? Yeah,
some of these signings are going to work. Right, one or two of them will hit.
Yep.
Most of them won't work because that's how these things work. If you look at the Brighton ones, I mean, okay, Brighton have got some that have worked out and they've worked out spectacularly, but they also bought players like Undav, who haven't worked out. But the difference is when Brighton do it, Brighton will bring in 8 players. They pay between 5 and 15 million for them all. They're not under pressure like you are at Chelsea. And the ones that don't work, that's fine. You loan them out, you get rid of them, you move on. The ones that do, they sell on for a massive profit. That's not what Chelsea are about. So I think Chelsea have taken a massive risk here, and I can see Pochettino being the fall guy for it.
Yeah, I could see it too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think one of them, and Spurs on the other end as well. We were just talking about it. Looks like they're going to lose Harry Kane, right? So
looks like it.
Yeah, so he's apparently going to Bayern Jazz. You said he was on his way.
Yeah. I will. I think I still have the quote up. This is Fabrizio Romano's quote. More than 8 minutes ago now. But maybe 15 minutes ago, Harry Kane is given permission to travel to complete medical tests ahead of Bayern move.
So if they lose Kane, I've seen a lot of people. So obviously it's FPL season, right? So everyone's doing their FPL teams, and I've seen a lot of people say, well, if Kane goes, then Richarlison's a bargain. Why? He's still Richarlison. He's not gonna just swallow Kane's powers. Like, I don't get what people are thinking. So with Kane gone, it could go horribly wrong there as well. And they've got a manager that's not going to be on huge money. It's not going to be difficult to sack the ex-Celtic manager. So I can see him going as well.
I mean, Richarlison is Brazil's number 9, starting number 9.
He is, which is probably why their manager got the sack.
That's fair. I mean, Paz could probably speak more to that than I can, but I think depending on if they switch the system up well enough, I think Richarlison could be a damn fine starting number 9 if they have enough support.
And when they play in League One, I think if they play in League One, Richarlison would fit in perfectly.
Justin, he's not. I didn't even think he was that great in the World Cup. I know he scored that goal, which everyone talks about, but after that, I mean,
look, if you want 4 goals a season, Richarlison,
he doesn't score enough. I mean, if you're talking
about,
I
agree 100%.
If he's a replacement for Kane, then they've downgraded immensely.
Oh, they're in serious trouble. If he's the replacement for Kane, they are in serious trouble.
Because Kane really is a number 10 and a number 9. That's how important he is.
But look, we had this debate yesterday, Pass, right, where you said you thought Tottenham should sell him, and I think it's madness for them to sell him. If I was them, I would cling on for the year and hope he signed a new deal. And if he goes, he goes. But they are never going to be able to replace him.
I'm with Paz.
My argument on that is, look, I'm only looking at this objectively because as an Arsenal fan, I don't care what they do. But I can only say, if you're with Kane, what difference? Yes, you get extra goals. But where were they last season? That was with Kane. So you're still going to be a mid-table crap team. So you might as well cash in, get your 100 million for one guy with 1 year left who's going to go for free next season. Where is he going to elevate them this season? They're going to be worse than last season. That's a fact. They were terrible last season. They're going to be even worse this season. So with or without Kane, they're shit. You might as well cash in, let him go. 1 year left. You're not going to ever get a better deal than that. In fact, you're definitely not, because next year he goes for free. That's why I think it makes sense for them as a team. But I just don't see. I know Kane's a difference, but he's a difference to a Bayern to making them all Champions League contenders than making them top 4 for Spurs, because they weren't nowhere near it last season. And that's with it.
I'm with Paz. I think they sell him for 100 mil, or 96 mil pounds, whatever. They can buy 2 or a really good defender and a really good midfielder or something like that with that money.
But they won't. They'll buy Davinson Sanchez and Paulinho. You're laughing.
They're screwed for strikers.
That's what they're going to do.
They're screwed for strikers. They're screwed for strikers.
They're screwed for strikers. Yeah, the market is dead, right?
Yeah,
I agree.
Hoyland, where his name is, went for 70.
I guess like where Gav is coming from, and I think this is where he's coming from. Gav, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's just not a lot of A-list players that want to go to Spurs, especially after they lose Kane.
There's not. Look, they ain't winning the league, right? They're not going to win anything with or without Kane. That is true. But with Kane, at least they've always got that little glimmer of hope. They've got a guy who could challenge to be the Premier League's top all-time scorer. They've got something to shout about. You might as well keep that rather than sell it. They've got that big fancy stadium that sells out for concerts, don't sell out for football matches already. What are they going to do now without him?
But what about next season? Next season, if you think about it, he goes for free. They're just going to be equally as shit.
Or what if he goes to United or Chelsea?
Anyway.
Yeah, well,
or goes to United, Chelsea.
United have just signed Hoyland. Chelsea have signed 1 million players. I'm telling you now, if I was Spurs, I would turn this bid down and I would spend the next year sending him flowers, chocolates, and I'm guessing he probably eats that baby food, the little mushy stuff. Send him cases of that to his house and try and get him to sign a new deal. That's all I'm saying. I would, because they haven't got much going for them as a club, have they? Let's be honest. This is the best part of their history for nearly 100 years, and it's just because of Kane and Son. Everything they did was built on the back of 2 players. Why get rid of one?
If we're being honest, I mean, they do have a very nice new stadium that's a higher capacity than ours. they've got a better history in the last 7. And I'm being objective here, guys, not like trashing or talking up Spurs. But their last 7 years in Europe has been like better than ours.
Why? What trophies they got?
Well, they have a Champions League final.
They didn't win it though, did they?
No.
Right. So
Audi
I
Cup.
don't. They didn't do anything. Like they've done absolutely nothing.
No, they've done
it is the best period. It is the best period they've had. Right.
Yeah.
But they've won nothing in the same period. We've won 2 FA Cups. So
I bought the DVD.
They've won. Yeah. But I don't know. I just think they've had 2 players that have propelled them to this. I just don't see why you would sell one of them. It makes no sense to me. They've got to fill that stadium. And they're another fan base that turns quick, right?
They are. Yeah.
You've seen them turn quick.
Yeah.
I think you do this. You do this. Kane, obviously, whatever, he wasn't going to be playing on Saturday. Richarlison misses 2 or 3 sitters, which, let's be fair, is not out of the realms of possibility. You listen to that stadium. They're away at Brentford, aren't they? But you listen to their first home game. If they lose the first game and then Richarlison misses a couple of sitters in that second game, I don't know. To me, I don't think this makes. I just don't think 100 million. It sounds like a ton of money, and then you realize it's Paqueta.
Hey, Gaff, how many goals did Richarlison score last year?
I think 0.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I think 0. So yeah, so let's put him up front. But
yeah,
anyway,
exactly. Yeah, anyway. No, I'm pulling for the sale personally.
Yeah. Anyway, move on. Okay, all right. Yeah. Next topic. So
this isn't a Tottenham podcast.
No, it's definitely not. So next topic, Juz, who is going down?
Oh, okay. So I actually looked into this quite a bit more than I should have.
The relegation plays are fun. The relegation fight was fun last year until about 6 weeks to go when it kind of got settled. But the relegation fight's always fun.
No, I agree. Yeah. So I looked into this pretty heavily because there was a lot I didn't know about the new clubs. Here's what I have. I have unfortunately, I think Luton are doomed. I have Sheffield and I have Wolves.
Yeah.
You got anyone different, Paz?
I'm the same. I've got the 2 new. I think Burnley are going to be okay. I think the 2 newly promoted teams in Luton, Sheffield are down, and I think Wolves are in for a really difficult period now.
Yeah,
they look like they're in real shit.
Yeah, they just lost Lupe de Gui. Am I saying that right? I don't know. I'm not Spanish, but
I thought that was like Ed de Hui's brother. It sounded like the Hui you just said.
Yeah, they just lost Lupe de Gui. Hui? Anyway, go ahead. Go.
I have no idea who you're talking about. I've got to be honest. I have no idea who you're talking about.
They lost their manager, Gav.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I trust you on that. I have no idea, but I trust you on that.
Yeah, it was former Real Madrid manager.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
I still don't know Luke de Gui is though. But I know Luke de Jong. Was it Luke de Jong?
Can I hear one of you guys say it?
No, because I don't know who it is.
I don't know. I don't know who he is. Just. I know who you're talking about, but I've forgotten his name. So, I don't think it's the GUI though.
I mean, look, I've been working hard on learning Dutch. The whole pronunciation of G.
I know, and you did it perfectly. But now you're telling me
that's where the Hui's come from.
All right, whatever. You guys, go ahead. Tell me why.
So, I've got Luton and Sheffield United as well. Wolves wouldn't surprise me. I think there's going to be a few teams down there this year struggling badly. I think Wolves are going to be one. I think Brentford are going to struggle. Bournemouth. I'm going to go with Fulham being taking that last spot there. Like I said, I've never been a huge fan of Marco Silva. I've never seen what all the fuss was with him. He just seems to be awful everywhere he goes. And I think it'd be interesting. Are they the ones you think that are going to bring Sam Allardyce in after they sack Marco Silva to save them?
I could see that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's going to be something like that. But I think Fulham could be the ones. But I think that bottom part of the table this year could be a lot weaker than in previous years. I can see some real spankings being handed out to those teams down the bottom there. And Everton, I think Everton are going to be like, well, let's do this then. So, who's your surprise team of the season, either to fall right down the table or to go up? So, who you got, Juz?
I got Villa. I think Villa could actually shock and knock on the door of the top
I
six.
love looking at Gav's face when you mention Villa.
No, I think
I don't hear Villa.
It's Emery.
I hear Emery. I don't hear Villa. I just hear Emery.
I
don't think you're wrong though, Jazz. I'm not going to disagree with you. I don't think you're wrong.
Well, is there any other surprise club? I mean, I think this is a weird season where there's like a clearly defined, I don't know, like top 9, and then everybody else is going to struggle.
It's hard to place. I found it really hard to place within those tiers. But I was thinking, and you're grading on a curve, obviously. But I think the surprise might actually be Everton, because I think Everton, from being relegation candidates the last few years, it wouldn't surprise me if Everton found themselves in mid-table. With I'm not talking about pulling up trees here, but finishing 11th or 12th.
You think so?
Have they done business, Gav?
Yeah, they haven't done anything.
No, they've done nothing. They've done nothing. I just think they've got. I think they had players there that shouldn't really have been down there in the first place last year, and I think with Dyche getting them organised and stuff, and there's been a lot of turmoil there, right? At Everton, they've got Mashiri there, and they've had all them problems. But I just think there's some teams this year that are really, really bad, right? I think Luton, Sheffield United, Wolves, Bournemouth, Fulham are just really bad teams. I think they're all far worse than Everton. And I think Brentford are gonna. I think without Tony, I think Brentford are gonna really struggle. So I can just see Everton just pulling away from that group.
Yeah.
Paz,
who you got as a surprise?
It's a good shout, Villa. I know Emery, me and you kind of have an agreement on Emery, but I do think they've made some actually pretty positive signings. I would, just to be different, I mentioned him earlier. I think Burnley might be quite an interesting one to watch. I think they play some good football. They seem to be in a good place with with Company as their manager. I'll be interested to see them. So I think they might be the surprise. They could be maybe the Fulham were last season, in that they get into a top 10 finish.
And hopefully Sambi will be there. That might push them to the Championship places, Paz.
Hey, easy, mate. Easy. He's still our player.
An outside shout for this, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised to see Brighton plummet. I really wouldn't be surprised to see Brighton end up in like 14th or something like that.
Nims, in same. Excuse me. In one of my friends groups, I'm in with a Tottenham and Liverpool supporter. They picked Brighton to be like 5th, and I was like, so I think they're gonna cave on Caicedo before the end of the window closes. Chelsea's gonna buy him for some obscene amount, and I don't really see them recovering from all the stuff they lost. McAllister and Caicedo and Trossard when we bought him in January, and I think Brighton's gonna fall off. I don't think they're relegation threatened, but I think they're gonna be a solid 11th to 15th. Right in there.
Yeah.
Well, and with the other thing that I didn't actually realize, so I started looking into it a little bit. They were actually worse under De Zerbi than they were with Potter, and it doesn't feel that way. But they were actually, I believe, from Christmas onwards, they were actually on course for 8th, and they finished 6th in the end, I think. So they were actually worse under De Zerbi than they were with Potter. It just doesn't feel that way because I think his teams are quite interesting to watch, right? He kind of reminds me a little bit of Bielsa, where they'll match up 1-on-1, they draw you in, and they do all that. But I think that
I think also Caicedo's most likely leaving. McAllister's just left. I don't think Kudus has ran into a problem there, actually, because I thought that was going to be a good sign for them. Apparently, they haven't agreed personal terms. Ajax had a
Colwill,
deadline.
they had that Colwill last year, and he's gone back to Chelsea.
He's gone back. So
Yep.
you make a good point. I think they've signed is it João Pedro from Watford?
Yeah,
It could be interesting.
Football Manager 18 legend, but he's never
Ferguson,
hit it.
I think, is a great young striker.
But their fans reckon they're going to start Welbeck over Ferguson.
That's ridiculous. I listen. I like Danny Welbeck. For me, he's like one of those players that kind of like Emmanuel Abue in some respects that you know wasn't.
Oh, mate.
No, but what I mean is that not a comical figure, but he's not someone that springs out as the quality of Arsenal, but not dislikable. You look at him, you think, I want him to do well. It's nice, but I don't think he's that great. And I would have thought Ferguson would be ahead. By the way, just on a different topic, Lopetegui, that's who you meant. I don't know where you got the Hui from, but
ex-manager. No, that's Wolves. He left Wolves. Were you talking about Wolves, Just?
Say it again, Paz.
The ex-manager, we talk about Wolves, Justin.
Julen Lopetegui.
Is Lopetegui, right? You know the one that you were saying, the Hui.
I said Lopetegui.
Oh, no.
I still think he was talking about it.
Brilliant. Okay, now it makes sense. Lopetegui. That's
hey. All I'm trying to do is create the humor for this sub because
I love it. I love it. You brought back memories. You brought back memories of Ed the Hui. That's what really.
Somebody's got to bring the humor.
All right, Jazz. Who you got for 7th, 6th, and 5th?
Okay. So for 7th, 6th, and 5th, I have 7th, Chelsea. Now, this one was one of the toughest ones for me, and I'll just ramble on for 20 seconds here. They've shed a lot of players, and they've signed a lot of promising youngsters. Their squad is still huge and bloated no matter what. I don't know if Pochettino is going to deal with all these egos. He seemed to send all those out when he was at Tottenham. I think Chelsea's going to be 7th pretty solidly. I have Newcastle at 6th. I think just the balance of Champions League and Premier League, and they've made some smart signings, but they still went in with a pretty decently small squad. I think Tonali's a solid signing. I don't want to get into the Alan St. Maximin debate with you. But
we can all agree they got a good fee for him from a completely unrelated source.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to get that fee from Pepe, but and then I have Tottenham 5th.
Oh wow. Paz, who you got? 7, 6, 5?
It is tough because I totally forgot about Newcastle. So I'm gonna say 7th. I'm gonna put Chelsea there. In fact, hold on. Hold on. 7th. No. Sorry, my bad. 7th will be Spurs. 6th will be Chelsea, and then I'm saying 5th, Newcastle.
All right. So I have, and I'm going to flip 2 of these around after the Kane news because I had Spurs in 6th, and I'm going to have them in 7th. I'm going to have Aston Villa in 6th, and I'm going to have Newcastle in 5th. So give me the top
Chelsea.
4. No Chelsea. I think I think they've taken too big a risk. I can see them really sliding down the table. Just give me the top 4, but not in order.
Arsenal. Okay, hold on. Not in order. Sorry.
Man United. In any order. I don't care about the order.
Man United, City, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Pass, you got the same?
Yeah.
I'm
on the fence about United though, but I think I'm gonna have to put them in.
What are we gonna do in the cups? Just give me the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Champions League, and hopefully not the Europa League.
So, trying to be as realistic as possible.
Oh, don't worry about that. I haven't been.
I expect quarters in the League Cup, semis in the FA Cup, and I think we'll. I know, like, I don't want fans to be upset with me, but I think we'll go out the round of 16 this first round of Champions League.
Pass.
So Champions League, I've been very optimistic with this one. Champions League semi-final. That's a big one.
Damn.
Not as optimistic as me, buddy.
Here we go. League Cup. I actually think we'll get to the semi-final in that one, actually, with Raya in goal now. And FA Cup, I actually think we'll win it. I think we'll win the FA Cup. And then is that it? Just the cups or the league as well? Oh,
no,
cups.
That comes after. So League Cup, couldn't give a damn. Don't care what we do in that. It's for the kids. The FA Cup, I can see that being 5th round, maybe quarter-final, get Man City away and go out. Champions League, I've got us winning. First time back at Wembley. Mikel Arteta wins there every game. I've got us winning the Champions League. And that is why I've got Odegaard in the Ballon d'Or spots, because I think for him to get there, that's what we've got to do.
Hey, Gav, I got to be honest. That's why I love you, mate.
Yeah. Well, I've already got my hotel reserved back in England.
No, so I'd kiss that bald head right now.
I will admit.
Take the cap off.
I will admit that it's on Expedia with free cancellation, but I do have my room booked. So yeah, I've got us winning. Nice. So the big reveal, Jazz, where are we going to finish in the league?
I have us, guys, I'm not even joking. I have us as fucking champions. I do. And I'll tell you why. We've addressed all the issues we needed to. Saka back up, but we've gotten deeper. I think a lot of the competition has fallen off. City lost stalwarts in Gundogan and Mahrez, and I think we can just, man, guys, I really do. I think we can do it if we're a little more consistent. And I think more guys like Timber, who can be like plug and play when we're missing guys like Zinchenko, and then having Rice to fill in for Party when he's, obviously injured. Guys, I think we're gonna we're gonna win the league.
Nice. Paz, what have you got?
I'm with Justin. I think we will. I might have been over optimistic with the FA Cup as well. Now thinking about it, but
double. I like it. I love it.
The double, yeah, the good old double. But I think we're definitely going all out for the league. I think this year. I think we're kind of an injured tiger kind of thing, where we're licking our wounds and we're ready now for this new season. Now we've got a much bigger squad, a squad that we need to obviously trim down, but more depth and quality than we've ever had. We've got incredibly talented players. We've got them a year more experience of being together. And I think that adversity is going to do them good. Because remember, this is how the progression has happened, right? Over the last few years. We finished 5th. Okay. There was a lot of disappointment. You could see they were pissed, but they came back much better in the next and got second, got 4th, came second, got top 4, came second, challenge for that title. I think this is the season where we really go tooth and nail. I think we can win it.
So I've got to finish in 3rd. And there is a caveat to this. There is a caveat to this. I do not think we can win the Champions League and win the league. So I have us winning the Champions League, and I think that's going to mean sacrificing the league. But if we go out in the quarters or the round of 16 of the Champions League, I think we've got a real shot of winning the title. And this is what I said to you earlier, Juz, about Saliba. I would have gone to Saliba. I think if we do win the title, I think Saliba is player of the year, and I think he's player of the year in the Premier League, because I think the way we win the title is we concede 15 less goals than last year. I think that's how we win it. I think you can win it. What did we score? 88 goals last year. We can win it scoring 88 goals. We can't win it conceding 46. So I think we have to concede 15 or 16 less goals to win a title. So I have us 3rd. I have us behind Man City and Liverpool. But I will caveat that, and I will say if we go out early in the Champions League, I think it's on. the title.
Gav, let me ask you this. I know we're low on time. Why Liverpool? They have a total
well, it's
rejuke.
So I'm basing this on a few things. First off, when I did this, I thought they were getting Caicedo because the rumor had come out that they'd just put the bid in for Caicedo. And I think that's important. I do think they need another midfielder, and I don't think it can be Lavia. I think it has to be someone like Caicedo to be able to get there because they've rejigged that midfield. But I think they've got the forwards that are going to score goals. I think Salah is going to score. I think Darwin will have a better year this time around. I just think they're a better team than they showed last year. I think they're better than their results were. So I think they're going to be the closest. I still think we're clear of Man United, even if we get less points. But I see Liverpool as the big, and I don't think in that scenario, I don't think anyone's challenging Man City. If it's not us, I don't think anyone's going to get anywhere near Man City.
But doesn't I mean, sorry, pause. I don't mean to cut you out, mate. City's got to be looking weaker right now than they were. I mean, I think Gundogan and
you know what though, they've still got Erling Haaland. And to me, that's the difference. I mean, if Erling Haaland's hamstring goes pop, then the conversation's a completely different one. But I think you can lose Mahrez and you can lose Gundogan, and they're bringing in Paqueta and they brought in Kovacic and whatever else, and he'll change the playing style a little bit. I think as long as they've got Haaland, I just it took them 6 months to get used to playing last year. And the way they hunted us down at the end, I ain't ever seen anything like it. That is the best team I've ever seen in the Premier League, right? That's better than our Invincibles. There's no doubt about it. They are a better team than our Invincibles. They are the best team I've seen. And I just don't think taking them two players out is going to kill them when you've got others in. Now, don't get me wrong, Gundogan was brilliant last season and he was key. But I just think they'll still roll with that. But like I said, if we go out early, and I've been incredibly optimistic on the Champions League, and I'll be honest, that's the one I want. But if we go out the Champions League early, then I do think we've got a shot at the title. So,
us.
So we might be running out of time, guys. But
yeah, we are.
Yeah, I'll league, and I'll take semi-final Champions League, but would not be averse to us winning the Champions League. I would not be averse to us winning the Champions League at all.
Exactly. I'll take any of them. So, all right. Thanks very much, lads. And we will see you guys all later on. And let's hope for a good win on Saturday. And we'll be back and get all the reaction to that game next week. So see you later, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.